Texas police are using a nationwide license plate reader network to track a woman who had a self-managed abortion. So this actually goes really well. Everybody in the comments was already talking about this exact thing. So
Yeah.
you guys are on the same mental wavelength as us. And once again, this is total overreach. So Desmond, I just want to read this to you. This is from The Independent. A Texas sheriff's office tapped into a nationwide network of tens of thousands of automatic license plate readers to locate a woman who had a self-managed abortion, raising alarms from privacy and abortion access advocates. Earlier this month, an officer with the Johnston County Sheriff's Office used a tool called Flock to access a nationwide network of some 83,000 license plate readers as a part of its search. Abortion is almost entirely illegal in Texas, but the search included cameras in states where abortion is legal, including Washington and Illinois. This is according to a tech website, 404 Media. The sheriff told the outlet, you'll love this, you guys, that it initiated the search because the woman's family was worried that she was going to bleed to death. And we were trying to find her to get her to a hospital. We weren't trying to block her from leaving the state or whatever, he said, to get an abortion. This was about her safety. I can go on, but I want to stop there right now because to me, this is such a infantilization of women. To say that I hate it when, in particular, men in power love to say things like, we want to protect you. We're trying to protect you. I don't need protected, okay? What I need is for you to back off and let me make my own decisions and have full autonomy over my own choices and my own body. And what happens is what happens. That is not up to you. And we also know the amount of disinformation that is spread around abortion pills. Abortion pills are incredibly safe. They are safe to use. Women have been managing their abortions since women could get pregnant. Okay, this is and birthing people. I want to be inclusive in my language. But point being, this is not something that this sheriff needs to protect this woman from. She's good. She chose to have an abortion. She had to leave her own state to do it, which is disgusting. And the last time I checked, we're allowed to move between states because this is all one country. And so for me, the level of oversight here, we're so concerned with this. Okay. Meanwhile, Texas, you could be focusing this kind of energy and taxpayer dollars on, I don't know, fixing your infrastructure to start and not worry so much about our bodies over here. But the fact that they were using taxpayer money to do this, the fact that there's this level of surveillance being attached to a woman's right to choose is incredibly alarming. And once again, I feel like this is all softballing and trying to set up a surveillance system where there could be potential checkpoints as you're leaving your state. What, am I going to have to like pee on a stick every time I want to go to Ohio now or a different state? Like where does this end? To me, this is why it's like, this doesn't end with Roe. This started with Roe. This was a ball in motion. So now we can start attacking all of these other civil liberties as well.
Yeah, I am very, very disturbed by all of this, truthfully speaking, because it's exactly that last piece that you were saying here. Like, where does it go from here? I mean, it's already bad enough. You shouldn't be having anyone tracked, like going in and out. Like, that is what we do to people that we suspect of, crimes, of terrorism. Like, what are you saying? Like, what is the onus you're putting on this? Like, the abortion bans, like as far as I'm concerned, they were already incredibly immoral, like in and of themselves. But now you're trying to make sure that if you are a resident of a certain state and you go to another state, that all of a sudden, like, that's going to be criminalized too. Like, I do not understand like how any of that could be legal. Like say for instance, let's take it to a different law, right?
Sure.
If you live in a state that has not legalized marijuana use, and you decide to travel to a state that has legalized marijuana use, and you smoke marijuana in this other state that has legalized it. Now, when you come back, you can go to jail for that. I mean, like, it'd be the exact same idea, right?
No, you're right.
Right. So like is that the kind of like the basis that we're trying to create here? Is that like you are bound by the laws of the state that you live in? And if you go somewhere else and they have different laws and that like now you're in trouble? Like what is going on here? Like this is again right when we're thinking about like all the different things that are going on in our country as far as like what is legal, what is not legal. Like we are all constantly asking ourselves like what the hell is going on in our country? Like
Yeah.
nothing is making sense anymore. And I think that we have a radical right-wing party that is trying to do everything in their power to control the entire country in a certain way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I am deathly terrified of the fact that there seems to be no limits to what they're willing to do. And the people that they have, like around this country, who are completely just wrapped around their finger,
Yeah.
tens of millions of people who are completely wrapped up by the propaganda machine, who are just willing to spit out any disinformation that they hear from these people. Yeah, I'm very concerned now. I'm very concerned for all the women in Texas. I'm concerned for the
Mm-hmm.
women in the other red states that will probably have similar legislation imposed on them, and not just the future, because it's always a domino effect with these things.
100%. And thank you for everybody who's commenting. American Citizen just wrote, Texas went after a New York doctor. This is true. That sent Plan B to a Texas woman. That's right. They wanted to sue the New York doctor, but they have shield laws and they said nope. This is wild that the party that used to be known for small government, right?
Yeah.
That literally was like, wanted to wage war when they had to wear a mask for a few months to go get a haircut, and was all about this, my body, my choice. Suddenly, they're not speaking that when it comes to my body, I guess their choice, right? And this
Yeah.
idea. And we can talk about it from a philosophical perspective. We can do all of the song and dance. We can do the I have to prove my humanity and all of that nonsense. But really what it comes down to is this is an incredibly stupid use of our tax dollars. Like if we just want to look at this from a viability perspective, wasting all of this manpower and time and effort to have your sheriff and your money scouring tens of thousands of license plates to look for a single woman who went and had a healthcare procedure in another state. This is absurd. Where's Doge and fraud and waste there? Because that is an incredibly stupid use of our tax dollars. And so once again, this comes back to fighting for the heartbeat and the soul of this nation. Where do we want our dollars to go? Why are we fixating on this, but not on the fact that there are children that go to school hungry in the United States because they've ripped away school meals from them, right?
Yeah.
Like we're criminalizing poverty and then we're forcing women into poverty through forced birth, which is once again considered a crime against humanity if we're looking at this on an international scale. So I just don't understand any of this. And this is why I keep going back to the only thing that makes sense is that we have been overtaken by a neo-Nazi fascist right-wing religious group, and they are now running the government. And we need to wake up and recognize that so we can appropriately fight back, because we're still fighting as though that's not happening. And we're going to have to do things a little differently moving forward.
Yeah, great comment on the screen right now by Dr. Lisette Alvarez Holland. Just the fact that every state has different access and control over women's bodies, but no rules by any state over a man's. Listen, I could not agree more. I cannot agree more. I mean, it honestly, it makes no sense to me. You would never see these kind of laws put down for a man. And I think, I don't know what kind of a reckoning we need to see, Natalie, but whatever it is, it needs to be an immediate one. There needs to be an immediate course correction on what's going on in our country, because I think we are creating this establishment right now of taking the country essentially back decades and decades and decades. And that is really the goal of all of this. Like, they want to remove all the protections. They want to remove all the rights that people have established over the last few decades. I mean, everything that we are seeing is a regression towards what the country was before. And I think it needs to be a stark reminder that if people aren't constantly vigilant, that these things can be taken from us. There's no guarantees on any of this anymore.
I mean, let's be real, like medical misogyny and misogynoir, it runs so deep in this country. I mean, the fact that, you know, women can't really get their tubes tied unless their husband signs off on it. I mean, a lot of doctors won't perform that, especially on younger women. Oh, well, you might want to have more children. There's always that. You know, I don't know if you had seen Brooke Shields came out and talked about when the doctor performed a love stitch, he called it, which was after she gave birth, he stitched her a little too tight for her husband, for him to enjoy later. Like, this is the depths of how much the medical establishment feels as though they can control the feminine, the female body. And so it is no surprise to me that when left to their own devices, that they create laws like this, even though there was this poll that went around that was all over the internet, saying that men thought that if you had a tampon in, you wouldn't be able to pee, because that's how few men knew that your vagina was separate from your urethra. Like, this is what we're dealing with in terms of education.
Yeah.
So to me, it all goes back to what we're investing in and what we're not. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of the conversation when we were talking about Jasmine Crockett and other people that need to be put into places of power, because the more that we see women, and in particular women of color, women of different backgrounds in positions of power, the more that'll seep into our unconscious and our subconscious that, oh yeah, women belong in these spaces and maybe we should let them do their thing. You know? So that's all we'll say on that.